Now what's cooler than being cool?
But I'm cool like that. I'm cool like that.
Perfect answer. And you know what? That wasn't just a dope hook. That was a mission statement. Because Digable Planets was cool like that. Jazz samples, conscious lyrics, three voices in perfect harmony. They were doing things in 1993 that hip hop didn't even know it needed yet. But here's the thing about being ahead of your time. Sometimes the world catches up, sometimes it's sooner, and other times it's much later. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. I go by the name Broadway the Lyricist. I'm a hip hop enthusiast, a cultural storyteller. And if you're a fan of hip hop commentary, history, or anything related to the culture, you're in the right place, you are family, and you're already locked in. So be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, click that bell icon so you guys never miss an upload. And as always, with that out the way, let's get to it.
I am Broadway the Lyricist, homie, just let me do my thing. I'm on top, on my grind, I'ma always get it.
So it's the late 1980s. You have Ishmael Butler, a kid from Seattle that goes by Butterfly. He's visiting his grandmother in Philly while interning at Sleeping Bag Records in New York. He's got jazz in his blood. His dad, Dr. Reginald Butler, a historian of Black American culture, a professor, and the records were always playing. Butler meets Craig Irving, aka DOODLEBUG, while he's already rapping with a group called the Dread Poets Society. And Irving, he's been dating this woman he met at Howard University, Marianne Vieira. Brazilian jazz was in her DNA. Her parents were jazz musicians. She's LADYBUG, MECCA. Three people, different cities, different backgrounds, but they all had jazz. They all had hip hop. They all had something to say. Here's the thing about chemistry. You can't manufacture it. You can't force it. You can't fake it. When these three started vibing in 1989, they weren't trying to revolutionize anything. They were just making music they wanted to hear. The music that felt right. They called themselves Digable Planets because every person is a planet. You control your own world. And insects, they stick together. They work for the hive. No ego, just collective good. And that's what they were going for. February 1993, Reaching, a new refutation of time and space drops. And it's like nothing else. Art Blakely samples, jazz loops, streams of consciousness flow that actually meant something. Beats that made you bob your head, but also made you think. The Rebirth of Slick, you know this song even if you think you don't know this song. That bass line, the finger snaps, the vibe, we beat to rap, but key beat to lock, certified gold. Grammy for Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group in 1994 and peaked at number 15 on Billboard. And here's what gets me about that Grammy speech. Butler steps up to the mic and says, on behalf of my crew, we accept this award on behalf of hip hop music and Black culture in general. We want everyone to think about people outside these doors that are homeless while we're sitting in here in these $900 seats. They're out there not eating at all. That's not your typical thank you speech. That's consciousness. That's awareness. That's who they were. 1 year later, October 1994, Blowout Comb drops. And it's a completely different album. They moved to Fort Greene, Brooklyn. They lived in the same neighborhood. They got deeper into the community. The insect imagery, gone. Butterfly became Ish. LADYBUG became known as MECCA. And DOODLEBUG became C-No. The jazz samples, still there, but now they're using live instrumentation. Real musicians, real horns, real bass. And the lyrics, Afrocentric, political, 5% Nation references, Black liberation, Brooklyn pride. The track Ninth Wonder was the lead single. It didn't chart like Rebirth of Slick, and you know what? The album initially flopped commercially. But here's the truth about Blowout Comb. It's one of the most slept on albums in hip-hop history. Spin ranked it in the 5th best album of 1994. Critics loved it, real heads knew. But the mainstream, they wanted another Cool Like That. They wanted crossover appeal. They wanted jazz light. And Blowout Comb said, nah, we're going deeper. And the industry didn't follow. In early 1995, Digable Planets disbanded. Creative differences, displeasures with the music industry. But if you read between the lines, there were definitely some personal issues too. DOODLEBUG even admitted it years later. He said, we had a beautiful woman and 2 guys. It went a little awry, and we didn't handle that situation well. Relationships got messy, egos got bruised, the music couldn't save it. And just like that, they were done. Butterfly disappeared from commercial music for a while, cut his locks, tried to figure out what was next. And in 2003, he released Bright Black under the name Cherry Wine. It was experimental, it was quiet. Then in 2009, Shabazz Palaces. And if you don't know about Shabazz Palaces, this is Ishmael Butler at his most creative. He teamed up with Tendai Maria and they made something otherworldly. In 2011, they created BREAKUP. The label Sub Pop signed them. That was their first hip hop act on that label. Pitchfork later ranked it number 179 on their best albums of the 2010s list. It was called An Album of Impossible Vision. Butler kept going. 5 studio albums with Shabazz Palaces, collaboration with Flying Lotus, Thundercat. In 2024, he was still releasing music. Exotic Birds of Prey, Robed in Rareness. He's also gotten into filmmaking. He started in a sci-fi short called Last Dawn of the Sixth in 2024. And get this, his son is Lil Tracy, former right-hand man of Lil Peep, and they've even collaborated. LADYBUG MECCA. After the breakup, LADYBUG went solo. 2005, Trip the Light Fantastic was her debut solo album. Samba, hip-hop, jazz, rock. She rapped and sang, and it was a reflection of her Brazilian roots. She joined Dino 5 as the voice of Tracy Triceratops. Yes, really. Then she linked up with Prince Paul and formed Brookzil, a Brazilian hip-hop fusion group. They released Throwback to the Future in 2016, and she's been collaborating consistently. She worked on Legacy/Sony's Billie Holiday remixed and reimagined. She's worked with Del the Funky Homo Sapien, hip-hop supergroup EMC. LADYBUG's been active. Quiet? Maybe, but always working. DOODLEBUG also cut his locks after the breakup, left music for a while, tried to get a regular job, but music is a respirator machine. You just can't stop breathing. Early 2000s, he came back as C Knowledge, started performing around Philly again. He formed C Knowledge and the Cosmic Funk Orchestra, released 2 albums, live instrumentation, jazz funk hip hop. He's also the CEO of 7 and a Crescent, a multimedia company. And in 2024, he released new music and his second graphic novel. DOODLEBUG's been grinding, touring with Schoolie D, Big Daddy Kane. He just kept it moving. The first reunion, they released Beyond the Spectrum, The Creamy Spy Chronicles, a compilation of B-sides and remixes. They toured, they did Coachella, Lollapalooza between 2009 and 2011. Butler and Irving toured with the Cosmic Funk Orchestra, but LADYBUG sat that one out. December 2012, the reunion show scheduled in Seattle got canceled days before, and Butler said, "I think it's the end." But thankfully, it wasn't the end. December 2015, they reunited again at Seattle's Neptune Theater. Shabazz Palaces open. So the spring-summer 2016, full reunion tour. June 2017, Digable Planets Live, a live album recorded in Ardmore, Pennsylvania, just 3 miles away from where they first met. And they're still touring. In 2023, they had their 30th anniversary of Reaching. In 2024, they toured with The Roots and Arrested Development. The Grammys Hip Hop 50th Anniversary celebration with Questlove and LL Cool J. 2025, Blowout Comb 30th Anniversary Tour. Lincoln Theater in DC, Webster Hall in NYC, Blue Note in LA. Here's what I need you to understand. Digable Planets didn't just make music. They made space. Space for jazz and hip hop, space for consciousness, space for a woman to be an equal voice in a male-dominated genre, space for complexity, for nuance, for saying something real without screaming. They influence everyone. Akai Solo says that Rebirth of Slick is a perfect rap song. Pink Seafood learned from LADYBUG that you don't have to be aggressive. DJ Premier, who came before them, remembers hearing their music and being blown away. Here's the sad part. They should have been even bigger. Not just critically acclaimed, not just cult favorites, bigger. Because what they were doing in 93 and 94, that was the future. That was where hip hop could go. But the industry wanted gangster rap. They wanted Bad Boy, they wanted Death Row. And Digable Planets with their jazz loops and their consciousness and their Vanta black politics just kind of got lost in the sauce. Butterfly's still making avant-garde hip-hop with Shabazz Palaces, still into film, still refusing to play it safe. LADYBUG still collaborating, still blending cultures, still being the genius of the group. DOODLEBUG still touring, still writing, still repping Philly. And together, they're still Digable Planets, still performing, still proving that real artistry doesn't have an expiration date. You want to know what I learned from Digable Planets? Commercial success is fleeting, but artistry, that's forever. They didn't sell out, they didn't compromise, they made the music they wanted to make. And yeah, maybe they didn't become household names. Maybe Blowout Comb didn't go platinum. But 30 years later, people are still discovering them, still being influenced by them, still calling them pioneers. And that's the difference between a hit and a legacy. Digable Planets built a legacy. And honestly, That's cooler than being cool like that. But ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do. Have you heard Digable Planets music before? If so, let me know your favorite Digable Planets album or track. Be sure to share that down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon so you guys never miss an upload. And if you enjoy videos like this, I have a whole entire playlist of rappers we don't talk about enough, where are they now, and albums we don't talk about enough. I also have a brand new playlist of 5 songs fans made me hate. It's all in good fun. I think you guys will really enjoy that. But thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate y'all. Catch you on the next one. Peace.